Welcome to the Las Vegasville podcast, brought to you by Jump Studios, where we cover topics related to everything happening around Sin City, including the social media scene, food, and a whole lot more, with some of the best, most popular accounts around the city, and talk about their success in Vegas and beyond. I'm your host, Philip Zhang, aka Las Vegas Phil. Check me out on IG or TikTok, and feel free to text or leave me a voicemail at 702-551-4445. On with the show. Welcome to this week's show. Before we get to our guest, this episode is brought to you by Whisky X at the Cosmopolitan, happening Saturday, October 29th at 7 p.m. With a live concert by Fitz and the Tantrums and St. Paul and the Broken Bones. Don't miss the Whisky event of the year at the Boulevard Pool. Enjoy views of the Las Vegas Strip while you taste a curated mix from over 60 premium whiskeys and cocktails, a live concert, and bites from Cosmopolitan's world-class restaurant collection. They've got great spots like Haleo, Lardo, STK, Holstein's, Hattie B's, Momofuku. In addition to the best of bourbon, American, Irish, Scotch, rye, and salt malt whiskey, you can also enjoy haircuts and beard trimmings by the Barbershop Cuts and Cocktails. Tickets start at $75 and VIP is $125, but we have a deal right now where you can get VIP tickets for $75 using the code word social in all caps, at jumpforce.com/whiskeyx. That's jmpforce.com/whiskey with no E, WHISKYX. Fun fact, it is generally spelled whiskey, WHISKEY, with an E in the US and Ireland. It's spelled whiskey with no E without the E in Scotland and Canada, which are both well known for their whiskey in several other countries as well. So let's get into it. Super excited to have Jason Puckley, better known as Sin City Bartender, who has been crafting cocktails as soon as he was legally able to, combining his passions with things like gaming and movies, which paved the way for his craft, featuring really unique twists on mixology, which initially gained attention during lockdown in 2020 when the only thing I wanted to be was not sober. Since then, he's become a very popular social media bartender and continues perfecting his craft today. His content is very recognizable and is always where I go when I want to change up my home drinking game. It's been an amazing journey to witness from afar. He's a prime example of what consistency and creativity can do for someone on social media, and he's taken things to amazing heights with more exciting stuff on the way, I'm sure. Without further ado, 50K subs on YouTube, 134K followers on IG, 1.5 million on TikTok. Jason Puckley, Sin City Bartender, welcome to the show.
What an intro. I don't know if I can follow that up. Thanks for having me, though. I loved our last chat, and I can't wait to get into more stuff.
Yeah, it was super fun. And last time we talked was September 2021. You had 1.1 million on TikTok. 68K on IG. We didn't even talk about YouTube at all. I don't think you even.
No, I didn't want to talk about YouTube at all.
Yeah.
My big breakthrough didn't happen until this past summer. Just blew up out of nowhere and the subs came. So now I'm somewhat of a contender on YouTube these days.
Amazing. So what's new with you with all the growth that we had over the last year?
Well,
going on?
It's crazy because I always think that my content's perfect. Like, today, I think I'm my best version of myself, right? So how can I get better in a year? And that's what I was thinking last year. I thought I had everything down to a T. And honestly, I think in the past year or so has been like the biggest amount of changes for my page. My biggest thing was I started always posting a non-alcoholic recipe video. I used to not do that. I used to scatter them here and there. I was like, my big audience is drinkers. But in reality, it's not. So I pivoted and catered to that, and I've really benefited from it. So
yeah, you totally ramped up the non-alcoholic versions of the drinks, just putting them back to back. It looks like you started making the conscious effort in late January.
Yeah, there was something. I had been planning to do this Perca-Cola series. I know it always gets views. I think I've done it 5 times now in the span of only 2.5 years, 3. And so I had this brilliant idea. I was like, I'm going to start replying to the top comment on every video, but like, how can I do that? And I'm like, I already have all these non-alcoholic drinks made from like 2 years ago. I'm going to reply on the alcoholic videos with those. So at first, it was just an attempt at engagement. But then I started getting frustrated because I would have to redo the voiceover as I was posting that day, so I couldn't plan in advance. Anyways, it just became a lot easier to remake all these videos and have them ready to go, and make the non-alcoholic drink. I don't know how it really came to be beyond that, but
yeah. And so obviously the demand is there.
Yeah, it's definitely there. I think there's so many people, whether it's because they're underage or they just don't want to drink, that want to consume that content. So
Yeah, you recently posted A Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie Boogie Burst, and the non-alcoholic one blew up with over 2 million.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Versus the alcoholic, which is 70K.
Forget about the alcoholic one.
Yeah, which is interesting because you would assume, since you're a bartender, everyone wants a drink. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely, especially on TikTok, I think people forget just what ages are on there. I mean, I think if you can hold a phone, you're probably on TikTok at some point. So the amount of people seeing my content is there. So even the ones who are above 21 might not drink, like I said before. So all those people are consuming that content. And I think, as someone who drinks, if I see a drink, I might save it. I'm like, come back to it. That's cool. Whereas I think people who don't drink, like, wow, like someone's actually making a non-alcoholic drink and they share it and get that engagement for me. And I think that's why it tends to blow up more. On occasion, the alcoholic one does better. But if it really blows up, it's usually the non-alcoholic one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
One thing that blew me away on the first episode we did was the sheer number of drinks you shoot at one time. You were saying like 30 to 35 videos at one time. Are you still doing it that way?
So I've actually gotten a little more efficient, I would say. My most recent filming session, I knocked out all these Halloween drinks, I think the second or third weekend of September. And I had gotten dry ice. So I'm like, I only want to shoot one day, maybe two if I have to. Not really understanding how quickly you go through dry ice. And so I think I knocked out 45 the first day because I was just getting used to using this dry ice. And I knocked out 60 drinks the following day. It was ridiculous.
How long does 60 drinks take to shoot?
So on average, a video probably takes four minutes, I would say.
Okay.
Because there's some that are so quick where if I'm not shaking the drink, that's like a 1 minute video. Whereas if I'm shaking it, it goes all the way up to 7 minutes for whatever I'm doing in the background. I don't know. I can't find my strainer, or I need to go get ice from the fridge really quick. And that adds up quicker than you'd think. But when I had the dry ice, I was like, I need to keep moving. I didn't have time to like go check TikTok for a second in between filming. I was just grinding out content.
That's amazing.
And I now work, another thing that's changed is I now film by daylight and natural light. Whereas before I would just throw on a couple, fake lights and call it a day. Now I really do have to work within, certain hours. And as the days get smaller, I have to work a little bit faster too.
Right. But in a way that gives you a break.
Yeah.
Right? You're not at 2 a.m. like with lights, like I got to get more done.
I definitely was there before. I don't know how. I still have mixed feelings about it because I think in the wintertime, I'm like, I can film 4 drinks today. The sun sets at what feels like 2 o'clock.
And then what's the setup like now? So are you using a real camera, or are you still using your phone to shoot?
So I think in September, I had just started transitioning to a Canon camera that a friend had lent me, which was cool. It was much better than, a Pixel. But then I was like, I got to stop using my friend's camera. So I recently bought a mirrorless Sony camera, and I've been loving that. I especially love it because I started putting my face more on the content, and the just face tracking is immaculate when it autofocuses and everything. So I'm really happy with that transition.
Nice. And the conscious effort to show your face was just mainly to change up your content, or?
I think that as I've been getting more and more into YouTube, I'm realizing that each platform is so different despite me posting the same videos generally. TikTok could not care less about who I am. If they enjoy the drink, cool. They don't even have to follow me. They just throw me a like. Instagram, you'll almost always get a like from it. They don't really care about your face either, but they will follow you and try and get to know you a little better. And then YouTube, they want to see your face. They want to know who you are. They want to engage with you. If they're following you, they genuinely care about you, is the impression I get from YouTube. So I was like, well, if they don't know who I am, they're not going to follow me. And that really translated. I think putting my face out there helped a lot.
Yeah, you're totally right. I never really thought about that. When I look at YouTube, I want to have a face.
Yeah, most times people are genuinely looking for help or trying to solve a problem, whereas TikTok is entertainment and it doesn't really matter. Whereas YouTube, they're really looking for something. So if they can connect with you, it's a whole nother thing.
Nice. Last time I saw you was at a Pokemon event where
Yes.
you curated all the drinks at the esports arena at Luxor. Shout out to Chris Gonda. How often are you doing appearances like that these days?
I would say every couple months or so. I love going to HyperX. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's always a cool event. Like, what was it, Jason Page singing last time?
Right.
That was so fun. So whenever they have an event and it lines up with my content, I try and help them out. I don't think we have anything on the books now. I'm hoping with Call of Duty releasing, we can do something fun in November, because those are some of my most viral drinks too. But at the moment, we don't have anything slated. Just whenever it happens, it happens.
And is it tough because obviously you make these drinks and they're very creative and very different than what would normally be served at a bar. Has that ever been difficult to translate what you're making and the recipe to the staff?
So at first, my main concern was just what ingredients they had available to them, because I used some ridiculous stuff here and there. But fortunately, HyperX, despite, their bar isn't their main attraction, it's really well stocked. So for that incident, it was really easy. They're like, oh, we have like every puree you could dream of. And I'm like, okay, awesome. That's the best way to get colors, is all those syrupy, delicious purees. So there wasn't as much trouble as I anticipated. It was still, I was like, I think we've made 3 or 4 sets of drinks, and every time there's been a fire-inspired cocktail. And so initially we're like, Fireball, cool. Don't even worry about it. Next time we're like, can we use Fireball again? Sure. Who's gonna notice? And the third time around, we're like, we got to stop using Fireball. So we came with like some spice last time. I think some ancho chili Reyes liqueur, if I'm thinking that's the right one, just for a different spice. But it wasn't as difficult as I expected.
Nice. You must get requests for crazy events all the time. Are there any interesting ones that you care to share?
Honestly, I don't get asked for too many events. I think people would love the idea of having me bartend a wedding, and I've been reached out to countless times.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, that's cool and all, but like, how about I can design a drink for you? Like they'll tell me their budget, and I'm like, I can't like provide a good time. I'm sorry. I want to do this right or not at all. And so unfortunately I haven't had any like really come to fruition or come to fulfillment. But recently I made this really fun drink inspired by the Shire from The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings for someone's wedding, and they loved it. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it there, but who knows, in the future, hopefully. Yeah. So, if Jason can't be there, he can always design drinks. Design a drink for you.
I think that's really cool. So, a big reason why you're here is because you partner with Whisky X for this event. How did that come about initially? They just reached out?
No. So I went to the bar downtown, We All Scream. They had a little like influencer table, VIP. So I was like, oh, I'll go get some free drinks. I had always talked to Paul through Instagram or here and there. And I finally met him in real life. And he's like, oh, dude, like I've been trying to get in contact with you. And I'm like, oh, I've just been sitting at home. Like, what do you need? And he's like, oh, like I just have so many ideas. And then he calls me the next day and he's like, I have this Whisky X convention. Would you be interested? I'm like, why wouldn't I be? Alcohol. And we just ran from there.
That's awesome. And we got a couple of them that are featured here today. What do we got, Jason?
So we have this blackened whiskey and as well as their cask strength. These are both made from or inspired by Metallica. I believe it's the drummer who created it.
Yeah, Lars Ulrich. And Blackened is the first song on And Justice for All, one of the best Metallica songs.
The sad pop and EDM in me doesn't know much Metallica, but I do respect them, and I'm sure this whiskey is going to be delicious.
Okay.
I can't wait to try it.
All right.
And then we have the Whistle Pig. This is their 6th year. At home the other day, I cracked open a bottle of their 10-year rye, and it was just unbelievably smooth. I ended up making a pumpkin spiced old fashioned with it, The basic white girl in me loves that. Anything pumpkin flavored. And so that was just the perfect pair for it.
Yeah, it was awesome. I saw that post. You used pumpkin puree,
Yeah.
double strained. It looked so good. Even the basic bitch in me was like, I need that.
It was nice because I even threw in pumpkin spice, but whiskey was still the main flavor. Pumpkin was in there, but it was just like a well-rounded, smooth flavor. And I'm weird. I don't like chocolate at all. But I did put chocolate bitters in there, but it flowed together. It wasn't like a flavor that was taking over because I hate chocolate. I'm so afraid to put it in drinks generally.
Like 10 out of 10 can't do it.
Yeah, I hate it.
I've never met someone that hated chocolate. Okay.
Yeah, I can't stand it. It's not even like it's okay if it's on there. It's like, no, if it's on the plate, I don't want it.
Interesting. How about Kahlua? Kahlua you can.
I don't really like coffee, so I avoid it. I know it's in Bailey's.
Right.
But
Interesting.
I tough it out for Bailey's, I guess. I'm like, it's the Irish cream, so I tell myself that. It's not chocolate, but it is.
So you want to crack one open? Shall
Yes, let's
Okay.
get this cask strength going.
we? All right.
Um,
This is all right. I'm filming this for my
All right.
story.
Let's see if I can get this label off right. I thought there'd be a little.
We-
Oh yeah.
Okay.
This is classy. But I'm gonna rip it apart like a barbarian.
All right.
So if you ever go out and you order a bottle, specifically wine, but it would still apply for whiskey, if they leave any foil on there, it's considered tainting the wine. So definitely don't let
Really?
them do that.
All right. That's a great tip.
All right. And we're just gonna eyeball this today
do
because
it.
that's the way to do it.
It's only 1:48. It's fine.
Right. Hey, it is literally about to be 5 o'clock in Cleveland, where I'm from. So, what's the difference?
When was the last time you were back in Cleveland?
Actually, just last month.
Oh, nice. Do you go back once a year or? More frequently?
So actually, recently my stepdad passed away, so I went back for a heart walk just to kind of try and support my mom and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be one major change since September, but it's been positive. Obviously, losing a loved one's tough, but I think he taught me so many great things in my life, and I think that's what's inspired so many changes in my content. Like I just want to keep doing better and better. So
Yeah, I remember that post at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And it was a great post, great tribute to him. And yeah, I'm sorry for your loss, though.
I appreciate it. Again, happy thing. So hey, I'll drink to that, right?
Cheers.
It's definitely delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always a worry with celebrity alcohol because it can be very hit or miss. Not so much with whiskey, more so tequila. They add
So many of them are in the tequila game.
I don't know why tequila. Like, it's mind blowing because tequila is not easy to mass produce. I mean, it is mass produced, but they're adding so many additives, which, if that's what you enjoy, there's nothing wrong with that. I still enjoy a bottle of Casamigos. It's sweeter and it's a little more vanilla than a typical tequila.
Mm-hmm.
It's mind blowing that it's selling so well to me.
Yeah, is it just because it's closer to Beverly Hills, so they can all just go down to
I don't know what it is.
South
I don't
to
know
Mexico from there?
if all these families who own, because it's most tequila is family owned. I don't know if they're all just cool, selling out, which there's nothing wrong with that. Get the money if you've been doing it your whole life.
Yeah.
Enjoy a vacation.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's working out that way.
What's the best celebrity? Can you recall a best celebrity liquor you've ever had?
I'm probably biased here because they always give me free stuff, but I love Bumbu rum. That's not necessarily celebrity owned, but Lil Wayne has a pretty big hand in that as an investor. As like a primary owner, I mean, I'm trying to think because I forget who owns a little bit of
Casamigos,
what.
maybe?
Yeah, probably Casamigos, to be
Yeah.
honest, but I've shifted away, trying not to support celebrity tequila. So it's hard to say that's my favorite.
Yeah, there's so many small places that do it now. And,
Yeah.
and you can always support the smaller guy.
Right.
This is all Sammy Hagar's fault. Think about it. I mean, how did he have the foresight to figure out Cabo Wabo would be what it is? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is mind blowing, and especially when you like look into the layers of it. Like, I really love like The Rock as a person, great actor and everything. But he has his Teremana tequila, which is it's killing the tequila industry. But then he got upset when they were building the telescope in Hawaii, and I'm like, it seems a little hypocritical, but
Yeah, weird.
yeah.
How has your view on IG and TikTok changed since last year?
Well, for TikTok, I think I was always, I feel like I based a lot of my mood on whether I was trending or not, and like on what the algorithm dictated. And I think I've just gotten a lot better at accepting if it's gonna go viral, it is. Whether there's levels, I can put more work into things, I can make it more polished. But at the end of the day, if there's something bigger going on, you're not gonna beat that. And I think it was tough accepting that like some of my favorite drinks aren't gonna get millions of views. But realistically, like my core audience is always gonna see it. I'm always gonna get that like couple thousand likes or so. And those are the people who really support me and keep it going. So I think I accepted that that's who I'm making drinks for primarily. And it made it a lot easier because it's like, there's still people who really care and they're commenting, and those are the people that I really want to support anyways because they support me. So
Yeah,
I think that made it a lot easier.
So the anxiety's kind of gone.
Yeah.
With what's going to happen.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I think that's just translated into more success in general. I think that's what's brought all the pages up a lot higher, is not trying to please these people that aren't even following me right now.
Right. Yeah. I also highly recommend Jason's website, sincitybartender.com. I love the search on it with any keyword. Out comes the TikTok and the recipes. It's such an amazing collection of drink recipes on the website. Was it a pain in the ass? It seemed like a pain in the ass to put together.
Oh my gosh, it was. So I'm kind of in a phase of, I call it, instead of remaking a video, I'm reshaking it. And I've just polished my content so much since 2020. So like, I would say once a week, I sneak in an old drink. And so building the website, I've been like deleting all those old videos slowly and then like revamping them. And at first it was such a grind until I got into a rhythm. And now it's easy. I try and make sure I upload the drink of the day on that day so that I don't have to upload, 60 in 2 months.
Right.
Because that's what I was doing, and that's miserable.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and if you've gotten busier, I'm sure this is kind of
Yeah.
tougher. As we've gotten into the real world more,
Yeah.
it's been tougher to keep it going. But you have, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's like my pride and joy, but it's time consuming. So
Yeah.
it's worth it though.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So I had a bunch of questions for Jason, but they were all all over the place. So we're doing like a extended rapid fire question. I'm actually going to fire away 30 questions to Jason. And then hopefully
We'll take another drink.
we'll get a refill somewhere in the middle. Jason, what's the first alcoholic drink you ever had? Mine was a Zima. Yeesh.
It was well, are we talking underage or at a bar?
First ever.
It was either a Bush Latte or a Bud Light. I can't remember.
Bush Latte.
Bush Latte, yeah. I was at some friend's college dorm when I was still in high school, and he had a bunch of beer, and we all got wasted, and I had my first hangover the following day.
Awesome. Good way to get into it. Of the hundreds of thousands of cocktails that you created, how many cocktails do you know by heart, do you think?
I would say of my own recipes.
Yeah.
I would say it's all like recent memory, and then I have probably a core 10 that I'll make for friends, because that's the first thing. Someone comes over to my apartment, they're like, "Oh, make me a drink," because they see shelves of alcohol. So I have like a couple I go through. My Nuka Cola Quantum is one of the best recipes, and it's blue, so that instant looks, and it tastes good. So that one's an easy one to rifle off for friends. And then whatever I've been making recently that tastes great, I'll usually grind out for some friends.
Yeah, I think that would be the most challenging thing for someone like me. It's remembering all the drinks. I don't know how bartenders do it. They got to know at least, 100?
Yeah. So it seems more complicated at first. There's like a base following for every drink. So let's say we're having a Cosmo. There's the base liquor is vodka, but let's say you're doing a margarita. The base liquor is tequila. So they're both following that pattern. They both use an orange liqueur. They both use lime juice. And then a margarita goes the route of sour mix, and the Cosmo goes the route of cranberry juice. And so they're similar, and it's all about like knowing those minor changes to get a completely different drink.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay.
It seems a lot harder than it is, but then there's those nights where you're like, what is the final ingredient in this? And it's just miserable. You have to break out the phone, which
right.
I don't know what people were doing before smartphones.
Yeah, they had a book.
They
had a notebook they were flipping through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. If you had a chance to guest behind any bar in the city for one night, what bar would it be?
Probably the Chandelier Bar at the Cosmo. It's so nice.
Great place.
I'd love to go back behind there.
Awesome.
That's really all there is to say about that. Nice bar, nice views, right in the heart of the casino.
Yeah, really creative stuff. Espresso martini, yes or no?
Absolute yes. If you make it right. There's wrong ways to go about it. Some places, including a bar I worked at, you can get like how they have pre-made fruit puree is reasonable because you can't just blend up strawberries every morning. But like a pre-made espresso puree is no good. Or espresso syrup. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like for most bartenders, they will order an espresso martini just to get a gauge of the bar.
Wow. So they base the entire experience on the espresso martini.
Yeah, if you can make an espresso martini or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nerve-wracking. So my wife is super into espresso martinis. I swear to God, every place we go, she orders one. She makes them at home now.
They're a classy vodka Red Bull.
Yeah, it's a classy vodka Red Bull. You're right. If it's too creamy, then it's a big no. Some places have a pre-made machine now.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be fun. Did it taste good at the...
No, she didn't like it.
Yeah. It would be fun for me because I don't have to make it. Honestly, I prefer to do it with a vanilla vodka, and I think that's kind of taboo. But I love sugar, so I want mine a little bit sweeter, but definitely not too creamy, like your wife's saying.
Yeah. There's a certain color when it arrives that still looks like espresso.
I'm sure you've had to listen to it. Like, there's so many different ways it comes, and like that, it really just says a lot about the bartender, how they choose to make it. Whether they're using fresh espresso, whether they have like a whole bunch chilled, whether they have the syrup, whether they just use coffee. I've seen it. I mean. It's just you don't know what you're getting when you order one.
Interesting. Yeah, I love them. Favorite anime series of the last 10 years?
Well, I am wearing a Demon Slayer hoodie, but I gotta go JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I just crushed the entire series in the span of like 2-3 months. And yeah, that ride was insane.
All right. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, the whole like JoJo's meme is everything's a JoJo's reference, but once you watch it and you start watching other shows, it's not really a meme, it's the truth. There's so many animes got inspired by JoJo's.
Cool. You've got a $100 credit on DoorDash. What are you getting for food?
Shoot. Pizza, just tons of pizza. Inviting friends over and as much pizza as I can get.
Right.
I love pizza.
What's your favorite pizza place in Vegas?
I love this local spot called Domino's.
Really?
I'm terrible.
Why?
If you could give me a slice of cardboard with cheese on it, and that's pizza, and I'll eat it.
That's Little Caesars, isn't it?
Yeah. And I love Little Caesars.
So I'm not hating on chain pizzas by no means. I mean, I grew up inhaling the supreme pizza from Pizza Hut like every week. But I think Domino's would be the best.
I would say for chain pizza, I would say Domino's is the best. I do like Brothers if I do want to support local.
Yeah, huge pizzas.
But at the end of the day, pizza for me is one of those things I usually get when I'm hungover. I just want something greasy, nasty, and I want to feel as bad as I do.
That's not a person.
And so that's why Domino's is my go-to. If I wanted a nice pizza, there's not really a scenario where I want to spend more on pizza. I'd rather just go get, sushi is probably my go-to if I'm paying a little more.
I got you. It's like buying a roasted chicken at a restaurant for $36.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or $90 or whatever.
Oh my goodness. I used to work at a restaurant that had a half chicken for I think it was $32. And I'm like, this is a half chicken. Go get the rotisserie at Walmart.
Right.
Cook up a bag of the frozen vegetables. Call it a day.
What are your toppings on a pizza?
Cheese.
Cheese?
So plain.
Plain Jane.
Yep.
Okay. My wife's like that too. And I guess that's how you know the real quality of the pizza is if it's a cheese pizza, right? Interesting. No extra cheese.
I guess we're probably getting into that pineapple on pizza question here soon, right?
Let's do it.
I hate it. I think it's
Really?
despicable. It's almost on. It's not as bad, but in the UK they put corn on pizza.
Yeah, in Japan too.
I think it's so bizarre. I don't get the desire for sweetness on a pizza, and it's cold. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm a fan of the Hawaiian pizza, to be honest. Maybe because I'm high more this time than not.
I would rather just go get like a bonsai burger or something. Throw some grilled pineapple on a burger with teriyaki. That sounds so much more appealing than pineapple on pizza.
Is peanut butter and chocolate the greatest flavor combination of all time?
Well, I think you can guess on that one now.
Right.
Being that I despise chocolate. Absolutely not.
So what would you say?
Greatest combo? I mean, I'm plain. I go for just cheese. I don't do these combos.
All right.
I guess I have no answer.
What's a liqueur that you're good with any brand? Like, for example, I'm not a wine snob. House Red is fine with me most of the time.
So I would say vodka is the biggest scam. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you pay for a $5 vodka, it's probably gonna like
Gordon's.
Yeah, it's gonna destroy your body. That's like nail polish.
Okay.
But once you get into the range of like a mid-tier vodka and you compare it to something more expensive like Grey Goose, the difference is minimal. Some people will claim that like better distilled vodka gives you a lighter hangover. I disagree, but that's why I won't pay for vodka. Don't pay for vodka. That's my motto.
I love it. I'm going to stop doing that right now. Especially because you're mixing it up, right?
Yeah, save it for a good whiskey. Save it for gin. I mean, vodka is meant to be tasteless. That's the point. So if you do buy a bad one, you'll taste it. But once you get into the mid-tier and you're mixing it in a drink, it's good.
All right, so Sky Vodka all the way.
Yep.
Whatever.
Svedka, all those trash brands.
All right. Say you're downtown and you're pretty buzzed at 1 a.m. There's no pizza around.
Oh, man.
Where would you go for a bite?
Well, it's so tough since after the pandemic. I used to always love to hit Hikari. I think they're open till 2 or maybe they were open 24 hours. I can't remember. So my go-to was sushi. I don't know if
Sushi would be great late night, yeah.
I think Jonga is back open 24 hours. So that's probably where I'd hit.
We're looking for confirmation. Yeah.
I'm
sushi would be amazing. Late night sushi is great.
Yeah, I'm not going to like a simple, I don't want Taco Bell. I want to sit down and probably continue drinking.
Right. I love it. What's a perfect last drink of the night /morning?
/morning. I think end the night with shots because I am a terrible influence. So,
and what shot would that be?
Usually green tea is pretty simple.
Okay, I've never had a green tea shot. No.
What world are you living in? You don't have
the world that people order tequila.
I mean, so this is for all of the people who don't like real shots. It's a mixed shot, but it's peach schnapps. Usually Jameson is the whiskey they use, sour mix, and then some people put Sprite in it. I don't think you need to. And so it's really easy. It's sweet and peachy.
Sounds awesome. What's the first cocktail you ever made?
First cocktail I made? Oh, I don't know I don't think I made it. But the first time I was behind the bar, we were getting the bar prepped, and the bartender grabbed a pitcher of iced tea, and I'm like, what do we need that for behind the bar? And he didn't really say anything. Then later, someone rang in a Long Island iced tea. I'm like, oh, that's what the iced tea's for. And he's like, no, there's no iced tea in there. And I'm like, why is it called a Long Island iced tea if there's no tea in it? And he's like, what are you talking about? It's Coke and, liquor and sour mix. And I'm like, no, it looks like an iced tea. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And so I believe that was the first drink I made. I was too blinded by the fact there was no tea in it to fully remember.
I didn't know that either, actually.
No, yeah, really?
I haven't had Long Island iced tea in Las Vegas.
Well, yeah, that's probably a good thing to
Right.
say. But yeah, it's just a whole bunch of liquor, sour mix usually. Some places will use fresh juice if they're fancy, and then Coke.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
No iced tea.
If bartending didn't work out, did you ever have a plan B, C, or D?
Had been going to school for accounting. I didn't want to be an accountant, so I don't know why I was doing that. But I guess that would have had to have been plan B.
Okay.
But I don't think I really had one.
Well, you always would have made money being an accountant. I've never met a broke accantant. So
True.
That's true.
And that's a real accountant.
Right.
And OnlyFans wasn't in the plan back in 2018.
What's the best new product you've discovered in the last year for bartending?
For bartending.
Or even it could be a liqueur or a product or gadget.
I would say I found this ginger liqueur that I absolutely love. And so the reason I love it is because Moscow Mules are probably my go-to, especially being that person that doesn't mind well vodka. Ginger destroys every other flavor in the cocktail. So I was like, well, I don't want to open a can of ginger beer every time I'm drinking at home. A ginger liqueur will do the same thing. It mutes all the other flavors. You lose the bubbles, but you don't have to open a new, can every time. So that's been my favorite liquor to use in drinks, at home, for friends. It's just my go-to.
That's great.
I think it's made by De Cooper,
Okay.
but delicious.
Yeah, I should pick that up too because I'm sick of opening up a bottle of ginger beer every time.
Yeah, it just feels like a waste.
Yeah.
So don't.
Totally. There are a lot of good food and drink pairings, but it's usually like wine. There's rarely any food and cocktail pairings. Maybe oyster shooters. I don't know if that's considered a cocktail, but what would be a good food and cocktail pairing, or what would you pair with pizza?
Well, with pizza, again, I'm a bad influence on the friends. I bring over shots.
Okay.
And those would be straight shots. I like vodka and pizza.
Oh, nice.
But if I was really trying to pair it, it would have to depend on the situation. I think most times I'm probably at a cookout and a lot of people tend to want Bloody Marys. We must be doing these early cookouts or something. I think Bloody Marys are the best drink that pairs well with what you're eating because it's usually brunch food. Something about the tomato juice just hides the alcohol and you feel like you're just drinking.
That's true. I agree. And I really hate that Bloody Marys are looked at as a morning thing. It should not. It should just be an all day thing.
I can see them being a perfectly acceptable evening drink. I mean, there's a whole appetizer on there too. That's not morning food. So
yeah, I recently saw one on TikTok with a whole fried chicken in it.
Oh my gosh,
which is insane. Is there a drinking trend you wished went away?
So this one's a little tough. There's a trend on TikTok. It's called the angel shot. And the story behind it is actually amazing. The idea is that if you're feeling unsafe at a bar, you order it and the bartender will get you help. It's a really great idea. But TikTok found it and it's kind of become almost a meme. Whereas like if I were in danger at a bar, I would not order that because the idea was that it was a coded message. And because if you go to the angel shot hashtag, I think it has like 500 million views. I probably wouldn't consider that a coded message anymore. So that's probably my least favorite trend is because what was something really nice turned into, hey, this will get me views.
Shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
But I think most bars do have within the restrooms, like on the stalls, they'll have, if you're feeling unsafe, order this. And it's like an ask for Angela or something along the lines, but it's now coded because the angel shot doesn't work as well.
That's awesome that they do that.
Yeah.
Okay. We're at halftime. I need a refill.
Yes.
We're going to try the This other one here?
Yeah, the Whistle Pig.
Whistle Pig. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite bar in Las Vegas? Is it the Chandelier?
I have a friend who works at the Chandelier, so I can't say that's my favorite. I can't remember the name of the bar. It's at the top of the D, I believe. It's
Not the
Legacy
D.
Club.
Legacy Club at Circa.
Circa.
Great
Yes.
place.
Love the views. And I mean, for the view, you're getting very reasonable priced craft cocktails. I think that's a major problem is a lot of people see, they charge $25 for a drink. Well, they charge $25 for a good drink, and that's the major difference.
Yeah. It's funny to me, though, because when I go to like Miami or New York and the drink's only $15,
Oh, my goodness.
it seems like a steal now. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? What's happened to me?
Vegas has ruined us. I was really happy when I was in Cleveland. There was a craft cocktail bar, and like the most expensive, I think, was like maybe 17. I was like, sign me up. This is a well drink.
That's crazy. So a bar wants to name a drink after me. What's your suggestion off the top of your head?
For
a Las Vegas
ingredients
Phil
or
drink.
A Las Vegas Phil. I mean, I feel like it's gotta have some. I'd probably go for some sort of variation on a Bloody Mary.
For that.
I've made one with green tomatillos, so it comes out green. But I think it should have seafood in there. I feel like your page
king
is
crab to
notorious.
stir.
Throw a lobster tail in there. I mean,
I like
I
that.
feel like your page has been notorious for seafood when it does go viral.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true. Okay, I like
and
that.
so I would probably go with, we're going to switch it up because you're not typical. I'd go with the green and a seafood inspired Bloody Mary.
Love it. Love it. Be like $58.
Yes, at least. If it's got a lobster tail, might as well charge 72, buy two, 108.
All right, I'm going to talk to Joe's about that. What's the one piece of advice you would tell yourself in 2020 about content creation?
Views don't matter. That'd be the number one thing. And then just have fun with it.
Yeah, I think even now, so many TikTokers, it ruins their entire day if they're looking at a post.
Yeah, and I think it turns me off so much on creators when I see someone saying, hey, our views are low. Like, if you guys can just make sure you're liking, sharing, blah, blah, and complaining about their views in any capacity. For me, it's not that it's unprofessional. It's just, you got to take responsibility. Stop blaming the algorithm. Obviously, some days it'll get you down. But if you are convinced that the algorithm's against you, you're never going to succeed.
Right. Did you really think that every single one of your posts is going to hit 5 million?
Well, I mean, I do sometimes.
Okay, well, you should because you put in the work. But
No, but yeah, I just get it. It sucks to watch someone sit there and complain, and I'm like, well, there's things you could be doing better. One, I don't want to watch this video through, so you just hurt your time in the algorithm right there.
Yeah.
And your followers don't want to see that. They want to see you making cool videos. So I think it's bizarre how easily the term shadow banned has been thrown around.
Right. It drives me nuts too.
I don't even personally. I think it exists, but it doesn't exist for that person with 25,000 followers getting low views.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
Yeah.
That algorithm doesn't care about that person.
People want to talk about shadow banning or the algorithm to me, and I'm just like, are you Morpheus from the Matrix? Because if you're not, I don't give a shit about this conversation.
Right. You got to take responsibility for what you're putting out there.
Yeah. And that's a great lesson. I mean, if views aren't happening, I mean, look at yourself, look at the work, and maybe, this is the time to change shit up, because if numbers aren't happening anyway,
Yeah.
why don't you take a risk?
Kind of segueing a little bit,
Yeah.
I got into an argument with a friend who's also a content creator, and he's like, well, I purposely put spelling mistakes or other stuff to try and generate engagement. I'm like, I get what you're doing, and it does work to some extent, but if there's no substance there in the first place, it's not. It might solve a problem short term. You might go viral, which it's happened to me because I pronounced something wrong.
Right.
But it's not going to continue to supply views or likes or a following.
Yeah, in the end, you need to be a trusted source
Yeah, exactly.
of information. And if you keep fucking up stuff.
Yeah, and taking like cheap shortcuts, like, oh, I spelled this wrong, or I purposely did something else weird. It's just not sustainable.
Yeah. Marry, fuck, kill. Sin City Bartender Edition. Orange juice, cranberry juice, Red Bull.
Well, we're absolutely hate fucking Red Bull. I'll probably marry the orange juice, and I don't care about cranberry juice.
All right. What's the mixology scene like on social media these days? Is there any camaraderie there with you and any of the creators? And
it's actually a more competitive scene than I'd like to admit. Unfortunately, this past month, I lost a really great friend who was creating content in the same style I was. And he was just a great guy. Probably one of the most genuine people I've met from social media.
Oh.
So it's a shame to lose someone, especially so young. But we had worked together a couple times and really built a great relationship. So the possibilities are there. But in general, I think a lot of people look at it as like, how will it benefit me to work with you? Not like, hey, like this would be fun, you know? So I think that's like the brutal truth of like collaborations. It's always because it's mutually beneficial. So no one really wants to just help another person out.
Yeah, that sucks.
A lot of times. Not obviously not saying that's the case all the time.
Right. But that's true. I think even in food, especially when you're more popular or you have over 1 million, you're thinking about how can this help me more than yeah.
It's not a lot of like, hey, I want you to like succeed with me. It's like I want to succeed because of you.
Right, through you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah.
Favorite fast food chain of all time with a drive-through.
With a drive-through.
Yeah, so Domino's.
Domino's is out. Can I Google if they have a drive-through somewhere? You know what? I'm gonna be a little out of the box. I fucking love Arby's. I don't understand.
We were just talking about that the other day.
Why does everyone hate Arby's?
I don't know.
It's not even. It's like slightly more expensive for a way better meal. Like infinitely better. I love Chick-fil-A, but they're kind of ridiculous for pricing. I think Arby's is the sweet spot.
I gotta give it a try. So roast beef sandwich?
Roast beef sandwich, and they have mozzarella sticks for like $3.
Wow.
You can't beat that.
All right. I'll put it in the roast beef sandwich then. Jeez. As a Cleveland native, what's a bar that people should check out in Cleveland?
Terrible with names. I feel like. So I didn't turn 21 till after I left Cleveland. So I lived in Columbus right after that, and that's where I spent most of my time. I always loved to go to the Cantina in Columbus because that was a tequila bar.
Okay.
In Cleveland, I don't know the name of the craft bar I was just at, but it was amazing. I wish I did.
Germans still believe that Jägermeister is healthy. What's your opinion on that? It was originally made for a digestion?
Yeah. If it's healthy, that's great because I drink more of it than I think most 26-year-olds should. I don't get the hate for Jägermeister. I love it. I'm a fan. If you use it wrong, you're going to hate it. But if you actually make a well-crafted drink with Jägermeister, it's a flavor like no other. And if it's healthy, sign me up.
Yeah. There was some stuff going on about reducing blood pressure and all this other stuff, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'll drink more Jaeger if that's the truth.
Does the shape of the ice matter, or is it all aesthetic? Because I know some spots, like restaurants, are paying like $1 per ice sphere these days.
I think there's levels to it. In my videos, personally, I have a whole method of freezing a cooler of ice so I can get clear ice. I think clear ice is vital. I mean, we'll compare it. So we just have like some regular store-bought ice.
Yeah.
It just, you can see it. And if we had clear ice, you wouldn't see it. And it would just look a little bit nicer. It'd be a large cube. There's levels to a sphere does melt slower than a square. That's just realistically. So I think to some extent it matters, but then you get to other stages where there's somewhere in Vegas you can buy like a $40,000 old fashioned and it comes with a Rolex.
Oh yeah, Carver steak.
Yeah. And so they will like print their seal, I believe, on the ice cube, which that's cool, but that's more flashy. I do think the shapes matter, but it's not going to give you a better drink if the quality's not there.
All right, right on. Favorite beer?
Anything sour, I love, and then I hate the rest of it.
So no more Busch Latte.
Yeah, I had this amazing peanut butter and jelly beer last year. A company, I think they would send out like random boxes of craft beers, and I really liked it. And then they're like, "Oh, can you post about us?" And I'm like, "Oh, not for free."
Right.
So they sent me a really cool peanut butter and jelly beer, and then I asked for payment, and they said no.
So obviously you have a sweet tooth.
Yes.
Desserts. Talk to me about some of your favorite desserts then.
So whenever I get ice cream, I have a strict 50-50 sprinkle to ice cream ratio. Like I want a crunchy ice cream.
Rainbow sprinkle or chocolate?
No chocolate.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Jeez.
Anything that's like crunchy. So I guess I think technically you could specifically refer to them as Jimmy's.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
East Coast say Jimmy's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think those are my go-to. But for a real dessert, my mom makes these amazing cream puffs, and that's usually my go-to. And then speaking of cream puffs in the East Coast, have you been out to Boston?
Yeah, I actually grew up in Boston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you know Michael's Bakery?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, a lobster tail could put me in the ground.
Yep.
I
do love
that's
those.
probably like my dream dessert. You can get them shipped out for like $50.
Yeah, Mike's Pastry, if anyone doesn't know.
So delicious.
Little Italy, gotta have it. Have you heard about this campaign in Japan where the Japanese government is actually urging young people to drink more alcohol to boost the economy?
Really? Wow.
Yeah. It comes as young people are now turning away from drinking. The campaign's called Sake Viva, and they're looking for contestants to suggest new ways to make and sell alcoholic beverages to Japanese people.
Interesting.
What do you think?
I think that they're probably going about it wrong. What I would personally try and do, and I think it's become slightly more popular in the U.S., is dry bars where they serve craft mocktails. And I don't think you necessarily should have dry bars, but I think having like an attractive non-alcoholic drink menu would get so many more people in. You could go there with friends who do drink, and they'll drink, you won't. And I just think that would be the best way to have a balance rather than... I don't think if one of my friends doesn't drink and I say I'm going out tonight, they don't want to come along. They're going to drink a Mountain Dew or a Sprite and just drink sugar all night. So I think having an actual craft cocktail or mocktail menu would be the way to do it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe add some nigiri on the straw.
Yeah, get real fancy with it.
Japan, if you're listening, Jason's got it right. Because, a lot of the Japanese drinks are kind of boring. It's very straight up, on the rocks, sake.
You might as well, if you can't bring more young people in for the alcohol, bring more young people in for non-alcoholic drinks, and that one friend will go out with them that does drink. Because I'm not going to sit there and enjoy that. I want some booze.
Yeah, I love that. Halloween is right around the corner. What are you wearing this year?
What am I wearing? I actually was just getting ready to order some cat eye contacts. I don't know how many people have seen Always Sunny, but one of my favorite episodes, the Dayman musical, and the one character dresses up as, it's called the Nightman. He has like a karate gi on and cat eyes. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. But I'm going to go as the Nightman.
Phenomenal. I love it. And then finally, with so many videos and so many cool glasses that you use for all these videos, what's the glassware situation like at your place? Is it insane?
Oh my God.
It must be insane.
I just threw away some glasses because I was...
Perfectly good glasses you just threw away. Couldn't even gift them.
None of my friends would take these. I had these jellyfish martini glasses. I had way too many. And I'm like, someone take these. I'm always pawning stuff off on my friends, by the way. I just had a friend over, and I sent him out with probably, I don't know, a couple cases of sparkling water. And I'm like, I have all these mixers I want to get rid of. And glassware is no exception. I could probably open my own bar with the amount of glassware
I bet. It's got to be insane.
Yeah. I think my favorite glass that I own is probably, I have a Hard Rock Hotel beer glass, so that I don't pour beer in.
All right. Well, that about wraps up the show. Don't forget to follow Jason at Sin City Bartender and come see him at Whisky X. Once again, tickets start at $75 and VIP is $125, but we got the deal right now. You go to jumpforce.com/whiskeyx, no E. Use the code word social and you get the VIP tickets for $75. This was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking on the Whiskey X moment, I feel like the main reason, like I think it's a great deal, is 75 sounds like a lot. But these two bottles together are more than 75, and you can try so many of them and find out which one you actually want to drink and then spend $50. Whereas to actually try all those whiskeys at home is like $500-$600. So that's why I'm encouraging everyone to go.
Yeah, and you get all the great food as well. What did you think of the Whistling Pig versus Blackened?
I do have to say, I thought the Whistle Pig was significantly better. Yeah. And that could be personal bias,
It's all right.
but I think it's that celebrity hand in there is driving me away.
Interesting.
But I do think Whistle Pig was smoother.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Even with less ice. All right, guys, thanks for checking out the show. I'm going to see you next week.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to the Las Vegasville podcast. For more information about me and where I've been dining recently, check out my IG and TikTok at Las Vegasville. Feel free to text or leave me a voicemail about anything you want, 702-551-4445. Stay tuned as a new episode of the show debuts every Monday morning.